Hi, it's Mr. H, and today we're going to work on line 3 of the level 3 rhythms. I'll go ahead and perform this once for you. Maybe let's make it a little bigger first and see if you can follow along. We'll put the metronome on, and here we go. Ready, go. Ta, 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 ta. That's how line 3 goes. If you think you understand it, go ahead and try it yourself or rewind the video and listen to it again. If you need a little bit more help, keep watching this video and we'll go over this in more detail. The first thing that we notice is that this song, this line of rhythms, has a dotted half note. So it's a half note with a dot next to it. Sometimes people are confused a little bit when they see the dot. If you've seen music before, you might see a dot above the note, but this is not the same thing. When the dot is after the note, it makes the note longer. So if we back up to the first measure a little bit, you'll notice that there's 3 quarter notes tied together, and a dotted half note is the same as 3 quarter notes. So a half note is 2 quarter notes, and the dot is worth 1 quarter note. So altogether that's 3 quarter notes. So if you take a look at the first 2 measures, you'll notice that they're going to be exactly the same thing, because a dotted half note is equal to 3 quarter notes tied together. And take a closer look at just those first 2 measures. Just like when we had ties before, the first note of the tie is a ta, and then we just say ah for the other quarter notes, and then the next quarter note, which is not tied, is a ta. And the dotted half note, as we said, is going to be the same exact thing as 3 quarter notes tied together. So that's ta, ah, ah, and then another ta at the end. Remember that we're tapping our finger for every quarter note. So we tap for each quarter note here. And because a dotted half note is equal to 3 quarter notes, it's 3 taps. So once again, the first and second measure will be exactly the same. Let's go ahead and try those first 2 measures. Okay, ready, start. Ta, 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 ta. If you understood that, great. Maybe try it again yourself. Or if you would like to do it with the video, just rewind the video a bit and follow along with that. We're going to go ahead and look at the next part of this rhythm line. So if you notice, this part is really just the opposite of the first 2 measures. So instead of the dotted half note coming first, so for example, we have a dotted half note followed by a quarter note. If you skip to the last measure, it's a quarter note followed by a dotted half note. All we're doing is changing the order of these notes. They still last for the same amount of beats. And the first measure again is 3 tied together followed by 1 quarter note. And over here we have 1 quarter note followed by 3 quarter notes. So let's zoom back in again on the last 2 measures. And it'll just be a ta for the first note And then the first note of the tie is a ta, followed by holding out the other two quarter notes. So it's ta, ah. And then the last measure is performed the same way. Ta for the quarter note, and then 3 beats for the dotted half note. If we look at where the finger taps are, it would be down for each quarter note. And since a dotted half note is worth 3, it gets 3 taps. Let's try the last 2 measures of this line, starting here. Ready, go. Ta, 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 ta. Again, you should probably pause the video, try it yourself, and if you think you're doing it right, we'll try the whole line together, but if you need more practice on it, that's okay. So we'll go all the way back and try this entire line from the beginning. Here we go. Ready, start. Ta, 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 ta. How'd you do? Remember, we need to keep track of your long notes. If you're still having a little bit of trouble with it, go ahead and rewind the video or practice tomorrow. Sometimes difficult things that you're learning will take more than one day to learn. Another final tip is just when you're doing, if you're having trouble keeping track of these notes, the long notes, try separating it out. So when I do the ta, I'm smoothing it out because really that's how it's supposed to go. You're supposed to add those together. But if you're having a little trouble with that, go ahead and chop it up a little bit. So you could do it like this. Ta, 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 ta. And that might help you get the idea of how long these notes are. And then try again smoothing it out. Ready, go. Ta, 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 ta. And you can do the same for the last 2 measures. So that might be helpful to you if you're having trouble keeping track of your long notes. You might also try thinking numbers. And I'm just offering a couple different ways to do this in case one of them is easier for you. So again, there's 4 beats in a measure, and while you're holding that long note out, you might just need to count 1, 2, 3, 4, and then the dotted half note gets 3 counts, and the last quarter note is 4. And we'll just keep going with this. So this is the first quarter note, the second quarter note, third, fourth, and that would be the first quarter note of the measure. And then the dotted half note is equal to 3 beats, but it starts on 2. So this is 3 beats right here, but it's 2, 3, 4. I can set my metronome to count numbers, which I'm going to do, and then we'll try this together. So I'm still going to say ta and tap my fingers, but I'm also maybe at the same time going to think about numbers and counting how long these are. In fact, before we do that, we'll just count through it. Don't worry about tapping it. Maybe just count through it with me.
1, 2, 3,
Ready, go. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1,
two,
2, 3, 4.
1, 2,
And if I
3,
go ahead and
4,
tap it
1,
and ta it along with the metronome,
4,
it'll go like
1,
this.
2, 3,
Ready,
4,
go.
1,
Ta,
2,
ta,
4,
ta,
3,
ta,
4,
ta,
2,
ta,
3, 4,
ta,
2, 3,
ta.
4, 1.
So we're showing a few different ways to think about this. Hopefully one of them makes sense to you and you can keep using that idea. And like I said earlier, if you're having trouble with it, just keep at it, practice it a little bit more, maybe rewind the video and practice along with the video again, or just come back to it tomorrow, because it can take several days to learn something that's challenging, and that's okay. All right, good job, and I will see you next time.